وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم برضوان إلى يوم الدين. This Quran that we have been hearing being recited so beautifully by Sheikh Ibrahim and Sheikh Faisal, both of them. Every single ayah of this Quran gives us an awareness of our Creator Allah Rabbul Alameen, what He is like, what He desires from us, how He is going to deal with us. And if you combine all the attributes and characteristics of Allah that we come to know through His recitation, the most overwhelming quality of Allah that will appear is His mercy, His rahmah, constantly throughout. Even in the verses that we may not deem as being belonging to mercy, are flowing as a result of His mercy. Even His azab is a result of His mercy. But sometimes I think that if I look at every single verse of the Quran, there is this one verse that I find, at least to me personally, as being the most merciful statement by Allah. And that is, وَأَن لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى ثُمَّ يُجْزَاهُ الْجَزَاءَ الْأَوْفَى. That for man there is nothing except that which he makes an effort for. And it is only his effort that he will see soon. And then he will be repaid fully for his effort. Just reflect on this. That in this world, if someone wants to measure your worth, he is going to look at your productivity, what you have achieved. We carry these certificates and degrees and all the things that we collect throughout life. This is our achievement. And if you're not achieving something, if you're not showing results, no one will pay any attention to you. You will be removed from the job if you're not being productive and not bringing results. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not asking for results. All He's asking is that you make the effort. And He's saying that's the only thing He's going to look at on the day of judgment. Nothing else. Isn't that the most merciful thing that could happen? Because what we are capable of. Are we capable of having results? We are only capable when we are asked something that we make an effort to do it. And that's all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to look at. It is of our efforts that we must take whenever we recite Quran and we hear verses where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala demands us from something. The standards is very low. All you have to do, when He says stand up, go and stand. Qum, and stand. And then He says once you take that first step, He's going to guide you throughout. He'll keep guiding you. In terms of putting proper focus on our efforts, I just want to leave you with three things. This is an advice that my father gave just 5 days before his death when someone asked him to leave some advice. The first is that the goal and focus for all our efforts is Jannah. is paradise. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invites us to work and do everything for the sake of the paradise. وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ. Strive, make an effort so that you can enter paradise. But paradise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is linked with amal, what you do. And paradise, oftentimes, since childhood, I've been reading books after books, and sometimes you find and you read things where people make it so difficult that no one can enter paradise. That it is so difficult, that it is all surrounded by so many things that it is not possible for man to enter paradise. That we just have to ask for it. Some extreme Sufi groups have gone to the extent that this amal means nothing. It's only Allah's mercy that's going to take you to paradise. Yes, there is a hadith for that. But Quran has two tracks when it talks about Allah, and also hadith has two tracks. One is Allah's absolute power, and the other is what Allah says, promises, that's what He will do. If His absolute power is missing anything, then He will be a defective God. So, in His absolute power, even the most pious person can be thrown into the fire. La yakhafu uqbaha. He doesn't have to fear anything. But He promises that's not what He is going to do. And He links that وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ constantly throughout Quran. Desiring paradise. And Allah, who makes Himself known to us as the Adil, the Rahim, the most just, the most compassionate, would He put us in a predicament where He will ask us to try to achieve something or work for something and then make it impossible for us? Is that you would expect from Allah? His qualities, His attributes, that He will make it impossible for us? That He says, سَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ, and then make it so hard that for most people it will not be possible to do that? That must not be the case. If we really believe in Allah's rahmah, and Allah's mercy, and Allah's compassion, and Allah's justness, and Allah's fairness of all the things. So Jannah is possible. Within means, in our hands to be able to enter Jannah. But we have to make that effort for it. But the effort that we make, the second point, is that whatever you do must be purely for the sake of Allah. Theologians will describe that Islam is a fiercely monotheistic religion. Fiercely. Allah does not accept anything to be associated with, anything even come close to Him as being equal to Him, or as being partner to Him, or as being helper to Him. Nothing. Allah alone. Wahdahu la sharika. So you cannot make others be the object of your effort in addition to Allah. That is where riya, or show off, and doing amal just for the sake of that someone will watch you for it, has been made such a grave sin that a shaheed will come to Allah on the day of judgment. He will be thrown into the hellfire because his niyyah was not pure. An alim will come on the day of judgment. He will be thrown into the hellfire because his niyyah was not pure. An abid will come and he was praying and fasting and doing everything so that people may recognize him as a pious person. And my brothers, that's also the most hardest thing to do. To keep things purely for the sake of Allah. But then again, وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. You do your full effort, to keep things purely for the sake of Allah, then Allah will take care of it. The last point in our efforts must be is that we do not let any harm come to another human being through our hands, through our actions, through our words. Because on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you will appear before Him. If you have shirk, no question, you are going straight to the hellfire. In your ibadat, in your relationship with Allah, if something is missing, something is there, something may not be there, then He said, if He wishes, He will hold you accountable for it, or He may forgive you for that. But if you have done any wrong to another person in this world, you will be held accountable for it. And then that will be the biggest hurdle for us to enter paradise. We must take care of not letting from our actions any harm coming to another person. All the characteristics of husnul khulq that Quran is enjoined on us, humility, humbleness, being considerate, on all of those things. All of the Sharia laws about talaq and divorce and inheritance, they're all designed. And the whole purpose of the Sharia is kaful adha, so that you do not let human beings harm each other. Take extreme care for it. That even when you suspect that the other person may be hurt by your actions, stay away, prevent from it. That will be your path to paradise. جزاك الله خيرا.